And coming on the field, your 1994 Oneida Indians, hopefully one win away from going to their second state championship game in 3 years. Mel, our starting lineup for the Harriman Blue Devils.
Harriman Blue Devils, number 1 at split end, Brent Tilley. He's a senior at 5'10", 150 pounds. Number 2 is running back Greg Love. He's 6 foot, 175 pound senior. Number 3 is, of course, Jermaine Copeland, the quarterback. He's 6'3", 195 pounds, and is also a senior. The other running back is number 4, Mark Boyd, at 5'5", 135 pounds. He, too, is a senior. The tight end is number 32, Corey Jenkins, 6'2", 180 pound senior. And the fullback, number 44, Daniel Wilson, at 5'8", 210 pounds. He's a junior. The line consists of number 55, Jason Taylor, 5'7", 180 pound senior. Number 62, Shane Hall, a 6'4", 170 pound senior. Number 70, Corey Davidson, a 5'10", 215 pound sophomore. Number 72, Rob Holt, a 6 foot, 170 pound junior. And number 77, Benji Roberts, at 6 foot, 225 pounds. He too is a junior.
Okay, Mel, now who's going to be starting tonight for the Oneida Indians?
For the Oneida Indians, of course, at quarterback number 23, Jason Pike. Number 21, Phil Meredith at tailback. The fullback, of course, is number 40, Cully Phillips. Daniel King is the tight end at number 7. Josh Thompson is a split end, number 25. And the other receiver, number 86, Pete Shoemaker. The line consists of number 50, Chris Claiborne. Number 55, Matt Owens. Number 66, Ryan Lewis. Number 67, Sean Harris. Number 74, Heath Sexton. And number 77, Michael Lawson. And your kicker, of course, is number 20, Wesley Billingsley. And also on your kickoffs will be number 47, Jerry Garrett.
Okay, now the captain's set to go out onto the field for the coin toss. For Oneida, number 42, Eddie Sharp. Number 21, Phil Meredith. Number 67, Sean Harris. And number 23, Jason Pike. And for Harriman,
number 62 is Shane Hall. Number 1 is Brent Tilley. Number 55 is Jason Taylor. And I believe number 38 is there with him. That's Jeremy Swicegood. And, of course, number 3 is the ever-dangerous Jermaine Copeland. Copeland, of course, playing as a senior his last year for the Blue Devils. Next year, Kevin going to the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, we'll be cheering for him next year, and, of course, not cheering for him too hard here tonight. Of course, Harriman won their way into this game tonight by defeating Sweetwater last week 17-7, held Sweetwater to only 82 yards on the ground and 81 yards to their 163 total yards of offense for the defending state champions last week against this tough Harriman team. Oneida, of course, won their way here last week, defeating Tellico Plains, who come into the playoffs ranked 5th in the state, one of the largest offensive lines out of any division in the state. And Oneida fell behind early 14-0 before coming away with an impressive 28-14 victory. Oneida will need to pull out all the stops here tonight because, Mel, Harriman has probably one of the biggest momentum rides right now out of any classification in the state.
Well, without any doubt, and you know they've got some outstanding players. You know, Jermaine Copeland draws most of the attention, but a lot of people tend to forget about Mark Boyd, who has 1,425 yards rushing this year, which is more than Copeland has. Copeland only has 1,320 yards rushing, but of course he has 900 passing yards, has rushed for 19 touchdowns and thrown 9. In case some of you fans aren't familiar with Harriman's ride into this game, their first-round victory was against Cosby. They beat them by an impressive 57-6 margin. Then they played number 1 ranked Meigs County in the second round. Also an impressive victory, 43-14 in a game that was tied 14-14 at half. And then, of course, last week, beating Sweetwater 17-7. Last in the regular season game, which was the last game of the regular season, Oneida held Copeland to 96 yards rushing, and there was only 4 in the second half. And
we've got a bit of a delay here right now for some reason or another. Out comes their feet. both sides are really fired up when they come to their feet for the coin toss.
You know, there haven't been too many games here where we've seen them lined up in the end zone, but we've got fans lined up in the end zone tonight. This is a standing room only crowd. There's got to be 4,000 people here, maybe more.
And there's the toss. And here's Harriman. Well, I thought maybe they won it, but I can't see any distinction yet.
I'm not sure they've even tossed it. They tossed the coin yet.
Yeah, I seen it go up in the air. Harriman has won the toss, and they will receive. So Oneida making its third appearance in 6 years in the semifinals. Their first appearance came in 1989 against Donaldson Christian. The Indians lost that game 15-12, or pardon me, 14-12.
Yeah, by a controversial field goal, we might add.
Then their second appearance came in 1992 as they defeated Greenback 19-14, and here making their third appearance in 6 seasons since the '89 season.
And Jerry Garrett teeing the ball up, getting set to kick off. And it's going to be a little difficult for us to keep up with the time remaining in the quarters tonight since the scoreboard clock is not working. But we'll do the best we can.
Jerry Garrett set to kick it off for Oneida. Back deep for Harriman. Of course, your main three, Boyd, Copeland. Well, they usually line up.
That's Greg Love, Mark Boyd, and Jermaine Copeland. Copeland with the ball.
And Copeland with the ball. He's going to be hit and taken down at about the 25-yard line.
And a good start for the Indians. Good coverage. They didn't give him any seams to run in. Everybody stayed in their lanes.
I couldn't hardly quite make it out who it was that put the stop on for Oneida, but there were several players in there.
There were several players. I believe Heath Sexton was one of those players that was in on the stop.
And Boyd around the right end is going to be taking down. A flag on the play by Josh Thompson.
I believe that's going to be a holding call on number 44, Daniel Wilson.
Holding against Harriman.
He came around the end trying to seal off the defensive end, and he had him kind of hooked there and right in front of the referee.
And that foul would be marked off, or pardon me, that penalty would be marked off from the point of the foul. That moves the ball all the way back to the 18-yard line. And it'll be first down and 20 to go for Harriman.
Ball is at the 17-yard line.
Make it about 17. And straight up the middle goes Greg Love. No, pardon me. That's Daniel Goins, number 9.
Yeah, we missed him coming in. Goins goes out now. Daniel Wilson comes back in.
The scoreboard is turned completely off.
I think they're trying to reset it to see if they can't get the clock working.
So it's second down and about 16.
Copeland on a sweep.
And picks up about 10 on the play. It's going to bring up third down and about 5.
Eddie Sharp, Cully Phillips in on the stop along with a couple of other Indians. Really credit most of that run. Oneida had it covered fairly well, had some men in the backfield. Just good footwork by Copeland, demonstrating some of the reason why the University of Tennessee is looking at him so hard. Brent Tilley comes out wide to the right side. Mark Boyd looks as if he's lined up in the slot. Copeland looking to throw. Everybody's covered. Chris Claiborne has got a beat on him, and Claiborne trips him up.
He's going to be close to a first down, and I believe he has got it.
Claiborne tripped him from behind, but his forward momentum carried him across, and it looks like it is a first down. Good defense. In the good defensive secondary work by the Indians that time. He had nobody to go to. And the field evidently a little damp tonight because when he went back to set up, he slipped. A little different formation for the Blue Devils this time.
They got two wide outs to the right side of the field. And they go left, handoff straight over middle to Boyd, and he's not going to get hardly anything at all, maybe a yard before he's stopped by several Indian players. Led along the way with Daniel King.
Really on that last play, if Chris Claiborne hadn't tripped Copeland up, he could have got some big yardage.
We apologize if we end up talking over each other tonight and maybe kind of mulling it up here on your television at home. But we thought there was a big crowd up here in the press box last week. There's a big one up here this week. We've got two radio stations, everybody else hollering in our ear, and we can't hear each other.
Copeland on the keeper.
And he's going to be buried after only a gain of about 2. It's going to make it third down and about 6.
Good coverage that time. Cully Phillips, Sean Harris out there on the stop. And number 74, Heath Sexton. And Jake Lau comes out. And Oneida looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They've only got 10 men on the field. No, there's 11 out there. I thought they only had 10 men on the field for a moment. Reverse, read well, but he got away from...
And still grinding it out.
He got away from Daniel King in the backfield. They had it read well. Good running by Boyd.
And Mel, that play, you see Harriman's about the only school you see run that, and that is called a rewind. As he goes one way, the back comes back across the other way. Almost looks something like a counter, but the way they run that is
well, it's an inside reverse is really what it is.
Oh, you probably at home, you might be able to hear Coach Lambert hollering that on that play as he's standing over here next to us.
Copeland on a sweep looking to pitch it. He's going to keep it and run.
And gets about 5 or 6 yards.
Taken in there by Cully Phillips and Michael Lawson.
Pickup of about 6, almost 7 on that play. It'll be second down and 4.
Oneida really not playing bad defense right now. Copeland really just practically being a one-man team right now.
And Boyd with the carry across center, and he's going to be stopped and nailed by Daniel King for a gain of only about maybe 2 yards. It'll be second down and 2.5.
You're not going to see too many players that's going to hit Daniel King head up and come up with the advantage. Most of the time, that's going to be the end result. The man's going to be going backwards.
He has to get it just about a half a ball length over the 40-yard line for a first down.
Well, this formation would indicate that it is going to be a run more than likely. And there he goes.
And around the left end,
he's not going to make it.
For a loss.
Excellent tackle by Heath Sexton.
And that will bring up fourth down and about 4.
Copeland's pitch man looked like he really had a better opportunity to make some yardage on that than Copeland did himself. But Copeland held on to the ball, and of course, he's a good quarterback. He doesn't make any mistakes. If somebody's got a hold of him, he's more than likely not going to pitch it and take a chance on dropping the ball for a turnover. They're going to go for it on fourth down.
They're going to go for it right here on 4th and 4. Copeland around the right end looking to pass. Got good protection. Finally breaking down. We got a flag across the field. Copeland is buried.
Number 4, Mark Boyd, pulled open on that play, but it was too late. Copeland had too much pressure on him and couldn't set up to throw the pass to him.
You got to credit that sack, Mel, to Oneida's secondary. He had nobody to throw to.
Definitely, and he had the pressure got to him. He had to move out of the holding against cover. It's going to be declined.
Oneida's ball.
But Mark Boyd, like I said, he pulled open, but Copeland couldn't get set up to throw the ball.
So the Indian defense holds their ground on their Harriman's first initial drive, and Oneida ends up with good field position on their own 49-yard line.
Look for Oneida to throw the ball here on first down. There's a handoff to Meredith. Fumble.
Fumble on play. I believe Harriman's got it back. Well, Mel, as we alluded to earlier when we was talking, this will be a game that whoever makes the fewest mistakes will come up with the win, and you hate to see that on the very first play for Oneida.
Well, definitely. I didn't get to see who hit. Evidently, there was a helmet put on the ball or somebody stuck a hand in there and knocked the ball out, but Mark Boyd with the recovery for the Blue Devils. And that certainly is a big momentum shifter. Oneida just had a good defensive stand to maybe take a little momentum off the Blue Devils, but they've got it right back again.
Well, the officials in some kind of discussion. Well, the scoreboard is back on, but I do not know if the clock is running or not.
No, it's not. It's been on for a few minutes, but this clock is still messed up. I think what the discussion was maybe perhaps where the ball should be placed, where the actual recovery took place. That's Daniel Wilson, the fullback, split out wide left, or in the slot, rather.
And Copeland follows his man through the hole and picks up about 3, almost 4 yards.
Daniel King and Cully Phillips on the stop on that one. And they're going to spread Oneida's defense out a little bit now with wide receivers split left and right. That's Tilley split to the left and Boyd back here far on the right. He wants to throw the screen, but now he's going to take off up middle.
And that's turning a busted play into something positive as Copeland just took the ball and got about 10 yards off that play.
Well, he knew better to throw the screen because Josh Thompson was waiting for it.
And picking up the first down all the way down to the Oneida 38-yard line. And Wilson carries it to the 35, a pickup of about 3.
Michael Lawson and Sean Harrison on the stop.
Of course, once again, the clock is not operational, so we have no idea how much time is left here in the first quarter.
Well,
if I was guessing, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, this has been a very time-consuming drive by Harriman. There's that inside reverse again.
And Mark Boyd carrying the ball all the way down to the Indian 20-yard line for a first down and 10.
Jason Pike down there on the tackle. Well, the Blue Devils certainly are riding the horse tonight. A lot of momentum coming into this game, as we said earlier. And if they can drive this ball in here and score before Oneida has even really had a chance offensively with the ball.
Boyd in motion. The fake to him. Copeland looking to pass. He's going to be rushed out of the pocket by Sexton.
That's going to be picked off.
Almost intercepted. and falls incomplete.
Meredith had it in his arms, and then I think he was looking down maybe to see where he was, trying to stay in bounds, but he dropped the ball.
That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Good play, though, by the Indians secondary. They had double coverage back there. There was no way that pass was going to be caught.
Oneida really has to be called on here on their defense. They're already in Copeland's field goal range. He was kicking some 40-yarders earlier.
Goins and Tilly out wide to the left.
And Copeland keeping it around the left end.
And he's not going to
be
get
hit
anything.
and taken down for about a maybe 1 or 2 yard gain.
Oneida doing an excellent job of not letting Copeland get outside and stopping that option tonight.
It'll be 3rd down and about 8.5.
Of course, the Indians, having already played Harriman once this year, knows what Copeland is capable of. He ran off a big 49-yarder in their first meeting.
And Copeland kicking it around the right end, being chased out of the pocket once again. Now he's going to have to run and gets down to about the 13-yard line, close to a first down. He'll be about a yard short. They spot the ball on the 14-yard line. First down is at the 12, so 2 yards short.
And, of course, they will go for it. Unless they do bring in and decide to kick a field goal here, which they may do.
It doesn't look like they're setting up for any type of field goal. They're going to go for it.
going under center, so they're going for it.
So not a second opportunity. They held them on the first one. And now we'll have to do it again.
This may be the... watch a long count here. They're going to call a timeout and kick the field goal.
And Jermaine Copeland didn't like what he saw and calls a timeout. We'll take the same here in the scoreless ball game. We'll be back to Dr. Emmy Thompson Field right after this. And welcome back. As they've changed their mind and decided to go for the field goal here, they put the block on the 21-yard line, so this will be a 31-yard field goal to 10.
Well, Copeland just lined up under center on that 4th down to try to do a long count, hopefully draw the Indians offside and get a first down by the penalty. When they saw they weren't going to be able to do that, they went ahead and called the timeout, and they're going to attempt the field goal. This is definitely within his range, Kevin.
There's the kick. It is up. He missed it right.
Good. That definitely had enough height and plenty of distance. It was just a little bit wide to the right side.
So Oneida will take over on the 20-yard line. And Oneida has dodged a bullet early.
And we've yet to really see the Indians' own offense. They got the ball and only ran one play.
And Meredith, once again, almost the same identical play as the fumble occurred on. This time goes for a gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Taylor with the tackle for Harriman.
Harriman has not got a lot of size up front. Really pretty similar to Oneida as far as size category. They've got a couple of boys that are a little bit taller, but Oneida may even have the weight advantage up front. Fumble.
And another fumble. And Pike recovers his own fumble. The Indians have fumbled 2 of their first 3 offensive possessions tonight. Maybe a little bit nervous.
Mistakes will kill you, and Oneida certainly cannot afford to make any mistakes against this Harriman team because they will certainly take advantage of it. Shoemaker and Thompson split out wide to the left with Thompson in the slot.
And off straight over the middle to Cully Phillips for just a couple of yards. That's going to bring up 4th down. It'll be 4th down and 5. So the Indians will be forced to punt.
And, of course, with Boyd and Love and Copeland going back to receive the punt. Copeland, of course, will be the deep man. If you're the Indians, you probably want to try to get it over around Boyd. You don't want Copeland to have the ball because, well, good penetration that time on the outside.
Nice high punt.
It's going to be covered well by the Indians. He'll not get a chance to return it.
And it's going to roll all the way down to the 31-yard line. Good punt by Pete Shoemaker.
Almost a 50-yarder, 49 yards.
So Harriman goes on the offense for the third time tonight. And that is the end of the first quarter with the score Oneida nothing, Harriman nothing. We'll be back right after this break. It is first down, 10 to go for Harriman. Ball spotted at the 31.5-yard line. Start of the second quarter. As not being able to see the time on the clock could become a factor later on this game.
Certainly will for the coaches. Of course, I'm sure they're trying to kind of keep up with the time themselves. Boyd with a big run. Off tackle.
A 15-yard pickup.
Oneida definitely needs to tighten up on defense and really doesn't need to let Harriman across midfield.
Harriman moving the ball very well right now against Oneida. Oneida, of course, has only run 4 offensive plays.
You know, we've seen it all year, though. Oneida always seems to be a little sluggish in that first quarter. Hopefully that won't come back to haunt them tonight. Copeland's going to keep it.
And just looks like he only took like 5 or 6 steps out there, but he's got 10 yards off that carry.
Well, he had about a 4-yard lean. He's one of those guys, though, that if you'll notice all your good running backs, quarterbacks, no matter how they're hit, when they fall, they're pointing toward that goal line. And he's one of those top players. You'll hit him 3 or 4 times, he'll go down, but when he does go down, he's leaning toward that goal line.
It's second down and about a foot. Copeland just keeps and gets about 2 or 3, maybe even 4 yards. As Harriman just right now just pushing the Indian defensive line backwards.
That's a good surge by number 77, Benji Roberts. Copeland just fell in behind him. Harriman really moving the ball well. The Indians have tightened up when it comes to Harriman's passing. They haven't allowed Harriman any receptions thus far. Forced Copeland into keeping the ball instead of throwing it. There's a handoff to Boyd off left tackle, or right tackle rather. He's out close to another Blue Devil first down. But Oneida seems to be allowing them a lot of yards inside, Kevin. They're stopping the outside stuff, but they're allowing them a lot of stuff inside.
Yeah, and it's usually just the opposite with Oneida. You know, they tend to give up a little bit of yardage around the outside and contain it pretty well inside. And Copeland this time only picking up maybe about a yard or 2, but that's all he needed as it was 2nd and 1. And it's enough for the first down.
Plenty of time left for Oneida to get the ball back and score.
Probably roughly around 10 minutes left to go.
Yeah, and Oneida has only had the ball for about maybe 2 of those.
And Copeland around the right end, jumps over one player and gets toward the corner of the end zone.
He reached the ball in toward the end zone, but the referee is going to mark him out at about the 1 or 2 yard line.
If you remember down in Harriman earlier this year, Harriman struck first on a 49-yard run by Jermaine Copeland, and that was the only offensive touchdown they managed to score against the Indians. The other one coming off of a fumble return. But the Oneida defense was up and ready for that game, and they're going to have to really buckle down and put a stop on the Blue Devils here tonight.
And if there's anybody that's tough to stop in this situation, it's Jermaine Copeland. There's the sneak, and he's in for the touchdown.
And Harriman has scored first. by the hands of Jermaine Copeland.
But you know, as we talked about earlier, it wasn't just Copeland on this drive. Boyd with a couple of really good runs. And Oneida certainly won't be fooled by this, because this is something they do. They do also. Oh, almost blocked.
And with that, 7-0. About 9 minutes or so left to go here in the half. It's Harriman 7, Oneida 0. We'll be back right after this. Copeland to kick it off for Harriman. Back deep is Thompson and Meredith. Oneida really needs to do something right here on offense.
They definitely need to get something going. They don't even have a first down yet in this game, and we're about at least a third of the way into the second quarter, and they'll have to back it up and kick it again.
Well, they got the option. They can take it on the 35, and they're sending the offensive unit in. That's what they're going to do.
You know, I don't know. With a man like Phil Meredith back there running, I'd be tempted to make them kick it again, wouldn't you, Kev?
Now, you never can tell. Especially last week against Tellico Plains, he broke one loose all the way down to the 24.
Yeah, and that was the momentum swinger, too. Josh Thompson out wide to the left. Pete Shoemaker wide right.
And the give to Phillips.
Ooh.
No, pardon me. Phil Meredith around the right end. And Martin Boyd come up and made the stop for Harriman. If he could have got by him, he could have been gone for about a 15-yard gain.
Excellent fake by Jason Pike that time.
Pick up a 5 on that play. As I don't know if we've gotten a shot of the crowd or not yet, but they are lined up all the way around the field. It looks like a bowl in here. As you can't, around the ends, you can't determine who's for Oneida and who's for Harriman because they connect.
Pike back to throw, looking for Thompson. He's got him.
Nice pick or catch by Thompson. Put
he put a move on Copeland.
And gets all the way down to about the 42-yard line as another big catch by Thompson.
And he put a move on Copeland, too, there to break loose. If it hadn't been for those other two guys there, he might have been gone. You know, we saw that in the first Harriman game. He put the big move on Copeland and went for a touchdown.
And Thompson comes up holding his ribs a little bit.
Well, he hit flat on his back, probably. May have even had the wind knocked out of him a little. But he stays in there.
He's holding his shoulder. There's something wrong with it.
Pitch to Meredith.
And Thompson's coming out. He's hurt his shoulder as Meredith takes the carry. Donnie Rosman coming in to replace him.
You know, the way he's holding that makes you think he might have a broken collarbone. He's definitely in a little bit of pain there.
And Meredith with the carry up close to the 35-yard line. And in there for Harriman was number 77, Roberts. Be third down and about 3, maybe 4.
Nice pitch.
And get rid of the ball, but he's not going to get the first down as he just got about 1 or 2 yards.
I'll tell you what, number 62, Shane Hall for Harriman, has been laying some licks tonight. He's the man who hit Cully Phillips on the fake earlier.
As after the spot, they're going to say it's 4th and 1.
I'm sure the Indians will go for it. Probably going to take a guess. I'm going to say about, 7.5 minutes maybe left?
Somewhere in that area. Maybe a little less. The referees will tell them out there on the field. Of course, we have no way of knowing. Cully Phillips will be close.
It'll depend on where the referee marks it.
He had to get right up to close to the 32-yard line, just a hair short, and that looks like probably right where he's at.
And they're going to measure. It looks like he may be a little short.
And he didn't get it.
And so Harriman will take over on offense once again.
And the Indian defense is going to have to be called upon. They've got Harriman deep back here in their own territory. And a hold here for the Indian defense could put the spark back in Oneida. And that's what they need at this point. And Wilson, the man carrying the ball for Harriman, gets about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Sean Harris on the tackle there for Oneida.
And Boyd into the secondary.
Tackled by Jason Pike at the 50-yard line, just across the 50. Another Harriman first down. And Harriman is just killing the Indians inside.
Of course, once again, the winner of this game plays for the state championship next Friday night, Vanderbilt University in Dudley Field in Nashville. And Wilson grinding it out, getting close to first down yardage once again.
And I believe he's going to be just a little bit short. He's right at the 40, and he has to get just across the 40 for the first. He is going to be about a half a yard short. And, of course, look here for the quarterback sneak from Jermaine Copeland. No, it's 2nd down. 2nd and short. You know, they've done that quarterback sneak 2 times, Kevin. This would be a good opportunity for him to try to throw the ball downfield.
Well, it's going to be Boyd around the right side for the first down.
And we don't know, but we assume there's about 6 minutes left in the half.
And Copeland with the pitch to Boyd around the right end. Flag on the play.
The area that's thrown. Possibly a holding call.
I believe it's going to be no holding against Harriman.
So that'll bring it back. And really, they'll only end up losing, really, from the original line of scrimmage about a yard, because that'll be marked off from the point of the foul. So they'll have it just across the 40, where it'll still be first down and about 12. And bad news for Oneida fans, I see coming down the sidelines.
And Boyd around the right end, going to be stopped by Daniel King and several of his friends.
It looks as though Josh Thompson will not be returning to action tonight.
Josh, the leading receiver, not only for Oneida this year, but in school history. And the fake. Copeland looking to pass. And looking across the middle, wide open, was Mark Boyd. And I don't know what happened there on the defensive coverage for the Indians, but there wasn't nobody within 7 or 8 yards of Boyd.
Yeah, and the ball was just thrown a little bit behind him. He really didn't have a good chance to catch it. Had a lot of zip on it, too, so he was wide open, though. He pulled out underneath the linebacker's coverage there and was just wide open.
So it's 3rd down and about 8 to go for Harriman. Another big defensive play for the Indians.
Without a doubt, and you can bet that the Indians are going to have to make some serious adjustments at halftime to stop Harriman's running attack.
Copeland around the left end and is going to be taken down about at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down, picked up of about 1. It'll be 4th and 7.
Michael Lawson and Sean Harris on the tackle. Copeland looked like he had some room up the middle, but then Harris and Lawson just closed in on him.
So Harriman's going to punt.
This is a dangerous situation. Copeland more than capable of taking off from where he is and getting a 1st down on a fake, but they will punt it.
And that could carry on into the end zone.
And it does.
So Oneida will take over. Roughly in the neighborhood of 4 to 5 minutes left to go here in the half. Oneida will take over on their own 20.
In case you're joining us late, the reason we don't know exactly how much time is left in the game is because the game clock is not working on the scoreboard. The time is being kept on the field by the officials. But we do know there is somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 minutes left. That, of course, is in the 1st half. Number 5 is Donnie Rosman, who is in replacement of Josh Thompson.
And Oneida broke huddle and then come to the line and now huddling back up again. The officials have stopped play. Maybe the officials are going over and telling each. I seen one go over and tell the coach. And I believe they said there's 4 minutes left to go here in the half. As kind of an interesting situation. I'm listening on the cordless headset to the camera crew and stuff, and we are on the same frequency as the Harriman coaches. So I'm getting kind of a little insight on what's going on before it happens out there. And I just heard the referee go over and tell Harriman's coach 4 minutes left to go in the half. And Meredith not going to get but about a yard if he's lucky.
Absolutely swarmed over by the center of the Harriman defensive line. And I believe leading the way is number 77, Benji Roberts.
So it's going to be 2nd down and about 9 for Oneida.
And Daniel King tight end on the left side of the offensive line. Rosman in the slot with Shoemaker out wide left. Or wide right, rather. Piker versus
going
Field.
to keep it. It kind of looked like maybe he was looking for something else and it wasn't there.
Well, that might have been a broken play. Certainly decided he didn't want to go the direction he had started.
So it's bound to be down under 3 minutes now to go in the 1st half. 3rd down, 7. Oneida is known for making its adjustments at halftime, and they're going to have to do some good ones here as Harriman on the draw to Meredith, and he's not going to get but about 5 yards off that. No, check that, maybe about 2 yards.
Yeah, he's ended up with about 3.5.
As
It's
Mel
gonna be
Sweet was
fourth
pointing
down.
to earlier, the Harriman defense has really come to life here in the playoffs all the way through, and Oneida getting a bit of a taste of that here tonight.
Well, certainly we're underrated through the season. We knew they were good. And as a matter of fact, we even suspected that they would beat Meigs County. Of course, we didn't think it would be hardly by that big a margin. Almost blocked by number 1, Brent Tilley.
And going to go out of bounds at about the Oneida 47-yard line. So Pete Shoemaker, punt only good for about 25 yards.
The Oneida defense certainly must come to life here and cannot let Harriman score. We do not need to spot another team 14 points going into the half. They spotted Tellico Plains 14 points last week, but at the half it was 14-7. Well, I noticed the clock operator has picked the clock back up now, so maybe they've got it fixed and they're going to start it here in a moment.
Martin Copeland back in the shotgun.
This is something we haven't seen tonight. Boyd in motion to the right. They've got 3 receivers out to the right, and they're going to be
quarterback draw. And a pickup of about 5 or 6 yards on the play and gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
That would have certainly been a test if he had stayed back to pass. That certainly would have been a test for Oneida secondary with 3 receivers over there on that side. And they didn't seem to be adjusting to it. Now they've got wide receivers split left and right. Boyd in motion once again to the right.
And looking over here across the right side and trying to stop him, but just churning his way up toward a first down.
He was stopped momentarily but lunged forward, and I believe he's got the first down.
And he does have first down up around the 35, which will stop the clock to mark the first down.
He may have even got out of bounds to stop the clock.
And we're under 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
Harriman certainly has their heads on right for this game. We've seen several different looks from them. This is, of course, the newest one with Boyd in motion. Copeland forced out of the pocket.
Got a flag on the play. And could possibly be a holding against Harriman.
I don't know. I can just slightly overheard one of the Oneida coaching staff up here in the booth say that it was going to be against them, so possibly an illegal use of hands or maybe even a defensive holding call. Holding against the Blue Devils. And that's going to take them way back because it's going to be marked from actually behind the line of scrimmage.
And we just got word Thompson is out for the rest of the game. So he will not be returning.
I suspect the way he was holding his shoulder coming out, it would make you think he may have dislocated his shoulder or possibly even fractured his collarbone. We'll try to find out exactly what his injury is.
It is first down and about 24 yards. And Copeland looking to go to the air, looking downfield for Boyd. It's well overthrown. Well, this shows you how fast he is. He looked like Eddie was thrown by 5 yards and ended up just being off the end of the fingertips.
Meredith with coverage on that, watching the ball, and Boyd, if he'd had a little more speed, would have beat him to the outside and made the catch.
And right there was something, I don't know if we got that at home or not, but as Boyd come by Phil Meredith, give me a little pat on the helmet, good sportsmanship, telling Meredith, I'm sure, good coverage on the play.
Well, you know, both these teams not only high on themselves, but also have a lot of respect for each other, because you don't get this far in the playoffs being a so-so team. And this is what it's all about.
And they're bringing the guy that's keeping the time out onto the football field. And he's up behind he's about 10 yards behind the Harriman offensive line, making about 15 yards now.
And there can't be more than about a minute and a half left here in the half.
And the give to Boyd around the right end. And holding on for dear life is number 7, Daniel King.
Excellent pursuit that time by King. Boyd looked like he was going to get a lot more on that than he did. Second and long, or third and long.
Mind everybody, at halftime we'll be covering a couple of songs this week by the Oneida High School Marching Band, so you'll be sure and stay tuned for that. Copeland back into shotgun formation. It's 3rd down and 15. Looking across the middle, it's going to be incomplete, in and out of the hands of Mark Boyd, a little overthrown.
Well, that's Brent Tilley on the reception, number 1. Covered pretty well, but he went up. The ball was really thrown where it had to be thrown to make the reception. It just went through his hands. And the reason for that, possibly, it's cold out there tonight, and it's hard to catch those hard-thrown balls when it's cold out, because it's like needles sticking in your palms when those things hit your hands.
And a timeout by Harriman. We'll do the same. There is about a minute left to go here in the half. Harriman 7, Oneida nothing. We'll be back right after this. Copeland in punt formation for Oneida. Back deep is Phil Meredith. And illegal procedure against Harriman, and they did not flag it.
It's picked off.
Picked off. Probably would have been better off.
What a hit by number 55, Jason Taylor.
Phil Meredith, of course, the ball coming in your area, it's just instinctive to catch it, but probably would have been better off just to let that one fall. They would have had it up here about the 40.
Was that Phil Meredith or was that Jason Pike? I believe that was Jason Pike with the interception, wasn't it?
I seen a 2 and another number. I assumed it was Phil back deep to fill the punt. But Oneida's called timeout. We'll just go ahead and stay with this one. Okay, we got word we're going to take a break, so we'll be back right after this. Welcome back. Roughly about a minute left to go here in the first half. Harriman 7, Oneida nothing. Oneida with the ball on their own 30-yard line.
And not exactly sure how much time left, but certainly very little for Oneida to do anything with. They're going to need some big plays fast.
And Meredith only picking up about 4 yards. Oneida able to muster one good offensive drive tonight, and the key to that one was the catch by Josh Thompson. And Oneida calls another timeout.
And Thompson, of course, injured on that play and will not return tonight.
And Oneida taking timeout will do the same. I believe that is their final timeout. We'll be back right after this. Down 7 to go for the Indians as they send 2 receivers out wide to the right.
Coverage for the Blue Devils, Mark Boyd, number 4, and Copeland back at past the 50-yard line. Of course, looking for the deep pass. Pike on the sweep.
Now pitch out to Meredith. He's got some room. And it's going to be taken down by number 50 for Harriman.
That's Anthony McLean. But it's a first down, and if I'm not mistaken, is Oneida's second first down tonight, Kevin.
And Oneida has called another timeout, and that is definitely their 3rd timeout. And if they don't mind downstairs, we'll go ahead and stay with this one since we've taken so many here in the last couple of minutes. But, Mel, the Indians only able to muster up one good offensive series here tonight, and they're really going to have to make some adjustments at halftime.
Well, I've been kind of trying to keep up with Harriman's first downs, and they've got, I believe, 11 as compared to the Indians' 2. So that kind of gives you an idea of what kind of game it's been. And not only that, but certainly the time of possession is certainly on Harriman's side by, I'd say, quite a large margin.
Well, as the Indians come to the line, it'll be 1st and 10.
And you know the old story. The old story is if you don't have the ball, you can't score. And the Indians haven't had the ball much tonight in the first half.
I just got word through my other headset there's 26 seconds left to go here in the half. And Cully Phillips driving forward. Oneida no timeouts left. They'll have to hurry up and get on the line. And of course the clock is running. If I was assuming it would be down 2 roughly.
Phil Meredith is out at
15.
wide receiver. There can't be more than about 5 or 6 seconds left.
And that should stop the clock. I do not know if you're allowed to do that on high school or not.
I don't think so. Not only that, but it's a loss of down. But
well, as soon as they get the ball spot, they'll rewind the clock.
Well, they're going to decline it.
And apparently that did bring the first half to a close. And we'll be back with the Oneida High School Marching Band and some halftime comments after we tell you at halftime. It's Harriman 7, Oneida nothing. We'll be back right after this.
I just got off the radio with a couple other fellows from Harriman. They thought they had an exclusive with me, but now I have you now.
Okay.
Let me tell you a little bit about the Clinic Bowl. It will be hosted on Friday night. The Class AA team will play Friday night. We'll give the times on Monday. It's varying. And let's see. Ticket information, we'll represent that too.
Okay.
The Clinic Bowl.
Well, the Oneida Indians were there a couple of years ago and showed us a great time down there in Nashville. And hopefully we can make the trip back.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a close game. It's 0-7 right now. That was the first half, and this half looks like it's going to. They're still in it. And I heard last week they came back from a behind situation.
Yeah, that's right. We was down 14-0 as we wait to kick off here for Jermaine Copeland. And here's our kick. And a short kick. It's going to be fielded by the up man and brings it out to about the 38.
Oh, hit hard.
But, yeah, Mr. Wood, as you saying, the Oneida Indians fell behind early against Telco Plains 14-0 and managed to come back and win that game and earn a spot here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of on the spot. I heard they just lost one of their best receivers earlier this week or tonight.
Yeah.
I guess he's in injury.
Yeah,
back to the Junior Chamber of Commerce, we're representing the Clinic Bowl this year. The Class 5A will be televised on ESPN on Saturday.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good. I didn't know that.
This is the first time we've ever been nationally televised for the Clinic Bowl. So it's going to get good recognition this year.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by and having a chat with us, and hopefully we'll see you again there next week.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Greg Wood from the Clinic Bowl in Nashville as the Indians have it 2nd down and 7. And Phil Meredith around between the tackle and end on the right side, close to first down yardage. He'll be about a yard short.
And initial report as far as injury concerning Josh Thompson, he's been taken to the hospital for x-ray. But the initial indication is that it may be a separated shoulder. And we certainly wish Josh all the luck and hopes that it's not that it is just a minor injury and that he can be back next week if the Oneida Indians win tonight.
And it's going to be stopped short of the first down by a host of Harriman Blue Devils. It will bring up fourth down and about 2 or 3.
And Harriman has a player down on the field, but he's up now. And that was the man who made the tackle, number 62, Shane Hall, who has played outstandingly tonight at defensive end for the Harriman Blue Devils.
And back to punt for Oneida is Pete Shoemaker.
This is something. Go ahead, Kevin.
Back deep is Jermaine Copeland. He's the single back, partially blocked. It's
He touched it. The Harriman player touched it. If the Oneida player is on it, it will be their ball.
Referees are discussing it. And
it is Oneida
ball. A costly mistake by Harriman.
Well, that's the big break Oneida needed, because they certainly did not need to punt on that first possession of this half. They need to drive down and score, and to get not only back into this game as far as on the scoreboard, but they definitely need to get back into this game momentum-wise and emotionally-wise.
So first down, 10 to go for the Indians. Phil Meredith breaks one loose, and then out of nowhere comes Harriman's number 1.
That's Brent Tilley.
And only picked up 2 yards out of that.
You know, Oneida is getting good initial blocks, but really credit most of the defensive effort tonight on the Blue Devils to their outstanding linebacking core. They've really shut the Indians down inside. And really haven't allowed them anything outside either.
Oneida really yet to test the air yet, and going to on this play.
He's looking for
Pete Shoemaker, and he was
by.
well covered by Love and Copeland. So it'll bring up third down and 8.
Kevin Wendell was in on that play. He was the man streaking down the sidelines deep. He's replaced now by number 5, Donnie Rosman.
As we can see, that man in the black jacket you see there at home, he is the guy keeping the time on the field. Clock's still not working. I think he signaled in right then that was 10 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Back to pass. Good protection by Pike. Dumping off to Meredith. And it's going to be up close to a first down. It's going to be about 2 yards short. And I'm going to hear Oneida's coach saying over here they have got to go.
Yeah, they have to go for it. They don't have any choice. Plus, they're down about the 35-yard line. So this is a position in the field that they would probably think about going for it regardless of the score.
So it's fourth down and about 1. Ball spotted just short of the 35-yard line. They've got to get just over it.
It'll be interesting to see what they choose to run. They have had trouble running inside all night long. Phillips. Well, Pike kept, and
he got the first down.
He got the first if they'll give him a good mark on his forward progress. They gave him a bad mark on it because his forward progress carried him.
Well, you could see his feet was, he had a good yard over that line. And I believe they still got it by half a ball length.
This would be a backbreaker if they don't make it. Well, they're having trouble determining themselves. First down. Big first down by the Indians. Well, Kevin, this certainly, first possession by Oneida certainly has been a strange one already. They get the ball back on a punt when one of the Harriman players touched the ball, and an Oneida player fell on it on a ball that was partially blocked. Now struggling with every inch just to get first downs.
Nice run by Meredith.
Meredith, longest run tonight.
Picks up about 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. But Mel, as you were saying, you know, the Indians now look like they're going to start running a little off tackle. And we've yet to see the Indian defense. And, of course, offense is excellent at making adjustments at halftime. But if anybody is better than making adjustments at halftime, it would be the Indian defense. And we yet to see them.
That's right, especially defensively. But the Indians really need a score here desperately. Nice hole up the middle, and that'll be a first down.
And he had to just get over the 25-yard line for the first, so it is first down, 10 to go for the Indians. Oneida being a little bit successful now on moving the ball against the Blue Devils.
And this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is their deepest penetration of the evening.
Of course, Indians desperately need a score, especially after getting this far downfield. They give to Meredith. Nice hole down the left end.
Ooh.
And once again, the speed of Harriman chases him down as he broke through the initial wave at the line.
That was Greg Love there, who just seemingly came out of nowhere. It looked like Meredith had at least another 5 or 6 yards. And Love takes his legs out from under him.
Second down and 4.
Now, this is something that the Indians needed to do in the first half. They needed to get a good drive going and get some good yardage on first down. They weren't getting good yardage on first down. Nobody's got Wendell over here in the scene. Cully Phillips with a big run and another first down. But Kevin, on that play, Kevin Wendell, number 87, was standing all by himself in the slot just inside of Pete Shoemaker. Mark Boyd was out there with the coverage on Shoemaker, but nobody was on Wendell.
It is first and goal for Oneida. Ball spotted just inside the 10.
And Greg Love now comes out on Donnie Rosman, so the slot man not left uncovered.
And for some reason, the Indians break off once again. I think they're getting some fans off the end line.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're trying to get some of the fans back out of the end zone. Of course, the potential for injury to one of those fans down there is you got somebody like Cully Phillips coming through the middle.
Yeah, in pads. Compared to you not, get plowed.
You might be laying up at the hospital wondering what happened in this game.
Flag on the play.
As fast as the flag came out, you would suspect that's probably a legal motion or perhaps an offside call.
Indian players are motioning against Harriman. Offsides against Harriman. Big break by the Indians. They'll move the ball down to the 5.
First and 5. As a matter of fact, just inside the 5. Well, Kevin, you know, we've seen it all year long. The Indians sluggish in the first half, come out in the second half, and seemingly a different team. Greg Love has got coverage on Kevin Wendell, but he's way off of him.
Phil Meredith around left end is not going to get anything at all before he's met by a host of Blue Devils as he tries to take it around to the short side of the field. Maybe catch most of the Harriman players on the strong side. No gain on that play.
Number 77, Benji Roberts, trailed that play all the way down the line of scrimmage and ended up in on the tackle. Harriman has not given the Indians anything on the outside tonight. Their defense has really stepped up a notch since we saw them the first time this year.
And taken down from behind. Oneida fans wanting a face mask on that call, but I couldn't tell exactly if he grabbed it or got his shoulder pad or what.
Well, now here could be an opportunity for the Indians. Number 44, Daniel Wilson, is coming out, and he is the defensive.
And the Indians have called timeout, and with timeout, we'll do the same. 7-0, third and goal. We'll be back right after this.
That was Daniel Wilson, who's also the fullback. This might be an opportunity for the Indians to go straight at this new man that's come in, which is number 50.
Clock looking to pass. It's going to have to run. Fumble the ball. Harriman has recovered. Oneida's going to have to reach down and get it right here. They can't get down on this play. They do have Harriman pinned back deep.
Yeah, this is the deepest start Harriman's had tonight. Harriman's had good field position all night, and this, it seems like every time tonight that Oneida's seemingly had a chance to do something, Harriman has just taken the momentum right away from them. Jermaine Copeland gets more on a quarterback sneak, I believe, than anyone I ever seen. He got about 4.5, maybe 5 yards on a quarterback sneak.
Well, the Oneida offensive line maybe still, or defensive line still thinking a little bit about that last play. You know, they've got to forget about that, really bear down and really put some licks out there on the Harriman Blue Devils and really take over this ball game.
That's the thing. They've got to hit. They've got to get in there and show these that they're not going to lay down and they're not going to give up this easy. Donnie Rosman with a nice tackle out there. The boy's only going to get about 2 yards.
Rosman making an excellent stop there that time, as it brings up 3rd down and about 3.5.
Good pursuit on the play also by Jake Lau, number 44. They had him pretty well cut off to the outside. They need to stop right here. They need to stop Harriman here and force them to punt.
Copeland rolling to the right, looking across the field. It's going to be broken up.
Nice defensive effort by Pete Shoemaker. Boy, it looked like he had it momentarily, but then Shoemaker got his hands in there and forced the ball out of play.
Big defensive stand that time by the Indians, as Copeland can punt this ball.
This is an excellent kicker. We saw that even in the warm-ups.
He's standing on his own 5-yard line. Meredith back here almost to his own 40.
Jason Pike back with him at about the 46-yard line.
High snap. Kick is up.
It's a nice kick.
It's going to be fielded by Pike. Cuts around. Got a little bit of room.
Brent Tilley takes him down at about the 42-yard line. So Oneida dodges a bullet and holds Harriman to only 4 downs.
You know, this puts me in mind, Mel, reminiscing here a little bit about 1991 season. Oneida played Greenback earlier in the year.
I remember that game.
And won an exciting game earlier in the regular season, met Greenback in the playoffs, and much like this one, it was 7-0 for most of the game. Usually anytime you play a team twice, it's always a lot lower score game because you're familiar with each other.
Yeah, it's tough to beat a team twice in a season. You know, Oneida's done it a couple of times. They beat Greenback twice in 1992 on their way to the state championship. Of course, in 1991 was the overtime loss up here at Oneida in the playoffs.
The Indians are going to have to put some points on the board, as I would assume there's only a few minutes left to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, the scoreboard clock shows 14 minutes, but it's been showing that for almost the whole
Pike
game.
looking to pass. It's going to be downfield. It's going in and out of the hands of Kevin Wendell.
The pass was just a touch behind him, but he made the adjustment. It went right through the hands of Greg Love, the Harriman defender. And I think it's probably surprised Wendell that it went through his hands because it looked like it was going to be picked off.
Brings up 3rd down, 9 to go for the Indians.
This is a big play right here. And Oneida is notorious for big plays in these situations, though, Kevin.
Pike looking to pass, looking way downfield for Phil Meredith. It's going to be intercepted by
Jermaine Copeland. Copeland breaks 2 tackles, but is finally taken down by Pete Shoemaker at the 21-yard line.
The third, I believe it's the third turnover tonight by Oneida. And as we alluded to earlier, the team that makes the fewest mistakes will win this ball game, and Oneida can ill afford to do what they're doing right now.
And Harriman, a team that hasn't made, really that we can see any mistakes tonight. They have played good football. They've played good ball control football. Certainly the possession clock, certainly in their favor. And there's the sneak again.
A pickup of 6 yards on the quarterback sneak. It'll be second down and 4. Wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see him do it again.
Well, it's working real well for him. Boyd is not going to get but about a yard.
And Mark Boyd with the carry.
Maybe 2.
It'll be third down and 1.
He got more than I thought he did. Well, look for Copeland to sneak it once against here. They call that play pretty quick. So that's probably what it's going to be. Linebackers in a little bit tighter than usual. There's Copeland with a sneak, and he probably got the first down. It's going to be close, though.
He had to get about 2 yards over, about to the 32 for the first. And it doesn't look like he's got it from here, but they're going to measure. Of course, once again, this is the state semifinals. The winner of this game goes to Nashville. That game played on Friday night. Usually that game is, it'll follow the Class A game, so it'll be roughly around the neighborhood of 8 Eastern when that game will be played. First down for Harriman. Now this will obviously be our last televised game, whether the Indians win or lose, because a video outfit in Jackson, Tennessee has the copyright laws to the Clinic Bowl. More on that in a moment. As Harriman has it first and 10. Boyd around the right end. And nice tackle.
I believe that's
Oneida.
Donnie Rosman who tripped him up.
As I was alluding to, if Oneida can come back and win this ball game, well, I was just told them we may be getting a tape to show back on the delayed basis, so we might still be able to bring it to you. And Wilson, pickup of about 1. Oneida defense, second down and 8. Should be getting close to the end of the third quarter. I would say they would be 1 minute. I just heard in my ear from the Harriman coaching staff.
Copeland
with the keeper. Gets into the secondary. He's got some room. He could be gone. Got away from Rosman, and Rosman slowed him up just enough to allow some of his teammates to make it down there, namely Phil Meredith, but not until Jermaine Copeland can carry it all the way down to the Oneida 20-yard line.
And Pete Shoemaker there with the tackle, I believe, at the end of that play after Rosman slowed him up. But certainly there we saw why Copeland is being looked at by the University of Tennessee. He is an elusive runner. It looked like Jake Lau was going to even hit him in the backfield, but he just made a sidestep, and Lau missed him by 3 yards. Boyd. Hit and hit hard by Daniel King. And it looks like Jerry Garrett. No, that's Eddie Sharp. And Kevin, this is certainly something the Indians did not need to happen to them to allow Harriman back this deep into their own territory.
Well, that is the end of the third quarter of play. One more quarter left to go in this state semifinal game to see who goes to Nashville. Harriman leads at 7-0. We'll be back right after this. Here tonight as Oneida goes in front of the stands. Everybody is on their feet trying to fire up the Oneida Indians defense. Once again, 7-0, but Harriman threatening. And it's second down and 8. Ball spotted at the 19-yard line.
Now what Oneida has got to be real careful of here is the quick pass in the flats by Copeland to number 9, and that's Daniel Goins. That's something we have not seen from Harriman tonight that we know they are more than capable of.
Copeland will keep it. Into the end zone is Jermaine Copeland.
Copeland, of course, in now to attempt the extra point with Brent Tilley holding.
Copeland set to kick the extra point. Kick it down, it's up, and it is good. At the start of the fourth quarter, it's Harriman 14, Oneida nothing. We'll be back right after this. Set to kick it off for Harriman. Back deep is Phil Meredith and Jason Pike. Oneida offense is really going to have to do something here and get some points on the board.
Not only that, but if they do get points on the board, they're going to have to be able to stop Harriman.
And finally picked up by Phil Meredith, and he's going to be nailed and taken down at about the 12-yard line.
And that's the man who's given Oneida trouble all night, Shane Hall. Unfortunately, the Indians in a situation now where they're probably going to have to start throwing on almost every down. But they won't on this first down.
And a pickup of about 5 on the play.
There's probably in the neighborhood of a little over 10 minutes left in this quarter.
Two wide outs to the left, and that is Wendell and Shoemaker. Phil
Nice
Meredith
hole.
right over the left guard,
And he's
or
going
left
to be
tackle. And it's enough for the first down.
And a little bit of frustration showing now on the part of the Indians, it seems. But that is enough for the first. And they're going to have to, sooner or later, relegate themselves to the fact they're going to have to put this ball up in the air because it's using too much time on the clock to run it. Fumble.
Another fumble. And Oneida has recovered it. It'll be second down at about 11.
Cully fell on the ball there. Mistakes, mistakes, mistakes. They'll come back to haunt you every time, and they certainly have tonight for the Indians. 14-0. And we spotted Tellico Plains 14-0 last week, but it wasn't in the fourth quarter. The Indians are really going to have to do something offensively.
Now looking for Wendell.
He's going to be caught. Blindsided from behind by Shane Hall.
Seemed like Pike wanted to throw it to Wendell, but Wendell wasn't looking. He was wide open there for just an instant. Or pardon me, that's Pete Shoemaker that was wide open, not Wendell, for just an instant. So it is 3rd down and 15.
You know, we haven't seen Daniel King get into the pattern that much tonight either. Harriman is certainly smelling victory here. And you can tell by looking at their fans across the way that they can smell it. They just are waiting on it to happen.
And a diving try at a catch was Rosman. And it'll be 4th and 15. And Oneida will be forced to punt.
Harriman is going to get this ball with excellent field position. Even with an excellent kick, they're going to have it probably in Oneida territory.
About 9 minutes left to go, I believe, is what the official signal. Kind of a shank punt. It's going to be go out of bounds. And official marking the ball at the 41-yard line. So the Indian defense will be called on once again, as I have so many times this year. Boy, a turnover right here would be nice.
Well, you know, we've seen it happen before, but most of the time it's happened when teams are behind. I'm sure Harriman won't try to put the ball up. They'll try to just run it out, and there goes Goins up the middle for about 15 yards. Well, it's going to be about 11 yards.
Phil Meredith trying to get his teammates fired up out there. About 8.5 minutes left to go here in the ball game. Harriman with a 14-0 lead.
And if Harriman scores on this drive here, you can just about write the Indians off.
Pickup of about 3.
Second down, 8.
He's got some blockers and gets down to about the 14-yard line. Will be plenty enough for the first down.
It's taken down there by Jake Lau and Jason Pike.
And we're down probably in the neighborhood of about 7.5 minutes left to go in the ball game.
And with Harriman moving the ball the way they are now, there's not going to be much time left when Oneida does get the ball back.
Official just signaled 8 minutes left to go in the ball game.
Handoff inside to Wilson.
And Wilson driving it down to about the 9-yard line, a pickup of about 6 yards.
Several Oneida players in on the tackle. Chris Claiborne, Sean Rose, and I believe Dustin Phillips is also in on the tackle. Oneida's defense has to be getting tired, Kevin. They've been on the field most of the night.
Copeland will keep it around left end, slips and falls.
May have even lost a little bit on that. Oh, he ended up actually even gained about a foot.
And
That's that inside reverse play again, and Oneida read it fairly well that time. Didn't get much on it, maybe a yard.
4th and about 4.
And Copeland will attempt the field goal.
And, of course, getting this will put Oneida, they will have to get 3 scores because the best they could do on 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions would be 16. Kick is up, and it is good. And I hate to say it, but that will almost ice it for Harriman.
No doubt.
With that, 17-0, about 7 minutes left to go in the ball game. It's Harriman 17, Oneida nothing. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back. Copeland set to kick it off. Rosman and Meredith back deep. It's going to go to Meredith. He fields it at the 5-yard line. Gets a little bit of a steam over to the right side of the field before finally being pushed out of bounds at about the 26, 27-yard line. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to go here in the ball game. Harriman with a 17-0 lead. Oneida will have to put points on the board 3 different occasions to pull this game off.
Yes, and that's something that, with as little time left as they have, it would be nothing short of a miracle. But I'm reminded of a game the other day that I saw on ESPN on Sports Center, the highlights of one of the Texas State Football Championships. A team was down 41-7 with about 2 minutes left in the game. They came back to tie it up.
Pike back to pass. Flag on the play. And he's taken out of bounds, which will stop the clock, but there is a marker.
And I believe there was some movement on the line of scrimmage before the snap. Now, one thing the Indians have not had much of tonight, and that's penalties. Most of the penalties tonight have been against Harriman, and this one is. There was a little movement before the snap.
Well, Mel, you got to congratulate the Oneida Indians. You know, they've come this far, and a lot of people even picked them to finish as low as 4th in the region. And to make it to the state semifinals undefeated, I believe, and I can also say was an unforeseen thing by many of the Oneida faithful, that to go undefeated through a tough region such as this and to make it into the state semifinals was unforeseen at the start of the season.
Well, not only that, you know, they've only been in AA 2 years, and they have done well both years. They have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. They have played an outstanding season. He's looking for Pete Shoemaker. Good defense by Copeland and Tilley.
And that's what Copeland has signed to go to UT for, is a defensive back.
Well,
and it's going to be hard to throw against Harriman.
He certainly has the speed. But, you know, something else we knew coming into this game, that Harriman had stepped it up a notch on defense. They have been playing good defense. They held number 1 ranked Meigs County to only 14 points. And as a matter of fact, held them scoreless in the second half of that game. Held Sweetwater to 7 points last week. And if you hold Sweetwater to 7 points, that really says a lot for your defense.
And Harriman's got too many men on the field, and I don't think the referees have caught it. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Unless he slid off the sidelines on the end.
I believe he did. I believe he slid off
I
before.
could hear, once again, I say I'm on the same frequency with the TV crew here as Harriman's coaches, and they was wanting Bailey to get off the field because they had too many men on the field. Third down, 15 to go for Oneida. They need to get to the 37-yard line. And Oneida will call a timeout and think about it. 17-0, about 4 minutes left to go in the game. We'll be back right after this. As the Indians break to the line, third down, 15. Back pass.
Backside
going to be
pressure.
pressured and it's going to be sacked.
Sacked by number 70, Corey Davidson. Harriman has got good penetration up the middle all night.
Well, Oneida is sending in the punting unit, and you've got to get 3 scores on the board no matter where you're at. You kind of wonder about this with about 4 minutes left to go.
Well,
Of course, you don't want to give Harriman the ball deep, but at this point, you know, you've got to put some points on the board.
Well, of course, you can always hope for a
straight
fumble.
Up in the air. It's going to be down at about the 43-yard line.
Well, how much time's left now? How much time we got left?
There's about 3.5 minutes left, 3:45, somewhere in that neighborhood. I haven't heard officially yet.
I'm certain that Harriman will try to keep the ball on the ground and run as much time off the clock as they can. And if they keep running plays and executing like they have been, they shouldn't have any trouble doing that.
Okay. 4 minutes and 49 seconds left to go in the ball game.
And
so a little bit more time left than we allowed.
And there's Daniel Goins with a run still on his feet.
And close to first down yardage.
And he will have the first down. You know, Harriman has probably averaged in the neighborhood of close to 6 or 7 yards a play tonight. It seems like every time they run the ball, they gain 6 or 7 yards. And they have really done something that we haven't seen anybody do all year, and that's run inside on the Indians.
Copeland on the sneak. Of course, right there, Mel, is a perfect example of that. Just taking the line surge and getting about 4 to 5 yards off that.
Of course, I'm sure that the Indians' defense has got to be a little tired because they've been out there most of the night.
Four minutes left to go here in the game. Harriman 17, Oneida nothing. Second down, 6.
Well, you know, we knew this was going to be a tough game, especially with all the momentum Harriman had coming in here. Of course, we didn't expect a shutout by any means. And Oneida, if they can get the ball out, still have an opportunity to avoid that.
I was wondering what the holdup was, but they finally got play started now.
Another nice hole up the middle by run by Goins, and it looks like he may have another first down.
As the Blue Devils have really got the Indians back on their heels. And Mel, you really got to give Harriman a tremendous amount of credit. They finished 3rd place in Region 2 AA and managed to get this thing together, and they are going to go to Nashville.
And have been extremely impressive in the playoffs. Who would have thought that they would have beat Meigs County 43-14? And I think that may have been the game that really gave them the drive to put them in the state championship game.
Of course, they'll be playing the winner of the David Lipscomb-Milan game. And Mel, as you pointed out to me earlier today, kind of an ironic twist to that last year Milan made it, and that was a team that Sweetwater beat to win the state title, and it would be very interesting if Milan would make it back.
Well, the Mustangs of David Lipscomb, of course, tonight, they played Milan once before back in 1988 and lost in the quarterfinal game. So they haven't played each other since, in the playoffs at least, since 1988.
And Copeland around the left side, close to first down yardage once again. He may be about a yard or two short.
And there are some other big games going on tonight. One of the biggest, Murfreesboro-Riverdale is playing Oak Ridge. Both teams undefeated, but Murfreesboro-Riverdale, a team that has yet to be scored on in the playoffs.
And there it is, 4th down and 1. Copeland around the right end is going to be taken down, and that will be enough for the first down.
Well, I don't know how much you heard of that I began on there, but some other big games going on tonight. One of those, Cleveland, last we heard, was beating Cherokee by a substantial margin. I think it was like 40-7 or something like that. So they'll be making a return trip, and they are the defending state championships in 4A. And a possible rematch. If Brentwood Academy wins their game, that will be a rematch of last year's 4A championship game.
So first and goal for Harriman. Gives straight over the middle to Goins. maybe a gain of 1.
And Daniel King comes up to deny him a touchdown.
Oneida Indians will have several positions to fill on next year's squad. The running backs, Tully, Phillips, Phil Meredith, both seniors. Your receivers, Thompson, Shoemaker, both seniors. Daniel King, also a senior, and Jason Pike, a senior. So all your ball handlers will have to be replaced next year. Of course, the offensive line has 3 sophomores in it. They, of course, will be returning.
Yeah, and 1 junior, Michael Lawson, who's a junior. The only 2 seniors they'll lose on the offensive line are Sean Harris and Ryan Lewis, or on the line is period. Most of the time they play defense.
3rd and goal from the 2.
Eddie Sharp, a senior. This will be his last game. Joe Jeffers.
And Jermaine Copeland walks it into the end zone.
And if there was any doubt that Harriman was going to win this game, they certainly have sealed it now, as it is now 23-0.
The kick is up and is good. About 2 minutes or so left to go here in the ball game. Harriman 24, Oneida nothing. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. As Copeland, I guess, feeling pretty good out there right now. He's dancing around the middle of the field as the Harriman band plays another one bites the dust, or I won't comment on that. And a squib kick was touched by a non-player, which is a moot point, really, because once the ball goes 10 yards, it's a live ball whether anybody touches it or not. But Oneida did get the ball back at the 24-yard line.
Probably ended up with the ball probably deeper in Oneida territory than they would have if they just kicked it up in the air. Well, the Oneida Indians, the best record in the school's history, 13-0.
Well, they went 14-1 the year they won the state title. Of course, as you said, undefeated 13-0.
Undefeated 13-0.
And that is the end of the ball game as the Harriman fans charge the field to congratulate the Harriman Blue Devils. They are on their way to Nashville, Tennessee, to battle for the Class AA State Championship. Congratulations to the Oneida Indians and Coach May for an excellent season. But the Harriman Blue Devils win this game 24-0. We'll be back with a talk with Coach May right after this. The Indians made it here to the semifinals. Of course, an excellent job on their part and your part as well. But the Harriman tonight, it just seemed like they could do nothing wrong.
Well, they played very well. As well as they played, we were still in the ball game. Turned it back over to them after we stopped them the first time they had the ball on the first play, and letting them go down and score and make it 7-0. And then us coming out of the half with it still just 7-0, we thought we were in good shape. Had a long drive and came down and didn't get it in. This is just some of those things that happen to you. You know, some nights you get what you do is done well, and some nights what you do is just a little bit out of sync. And we were out of sync a little bit, and they were playing very well. Don't take anything away from them. They're a good football team. But I'm real proud of our team. I've been real pleased with them. They've done everything I've asked them to do. We just got behind tonight, and for once we couldn't get back. And that's going to happen to you. You know, one time, you know, you're not going to be able to turn it up, and we didn't. And I don't know for what reasons or that, but we've had a great season. We're a great bunch of young men. We lose some great seniors, and it'll be almost a rebuilding job for next year. We knew that because we're a senior-dominated ball club, and we came within one game of going back to the Clinic Bowl, but I told them out there, I said, there's not been any other senior class come through that's had 46 wins while they were here in the state championship and come to the semifinals another time. We just didn't make it tonight.
Well, Coach, you know, I don't know how you felt going into the year or whatever, but a lot of people I know didn't even expect this out of this Oneida squad this year because, you know, the tough region, the tough schedule that you had, and to go undefeated and to go as far as they did, you've really got to give a lot of credit to you and a tremendous lot of credit to this football team because they did work together as a unit, and teamwork is what will really get you over the hump lots of times.
Well, I think that we started this season in the back of our mind, we thought if we could win 7 and maybe just lose 3, that it'd be a great year, make the playoffs and play a round or 2. Then it would be a really great year because we know how limited we are when you're playing 2 freshmen and 3 sophomores with 1 junior and 2 seniors in your front line up there. In this league, that's youth and that's young kids. So I'm extremely pleased with them. My assistant coaches, they've done a great job, and you know, it's sad right now, and I told our seniors we're going to sit down one day next week and just go in one of the conference rooms up at school and sit down and talk about what they've accomplished and hope that they leave our program with a real positive thing on their mind. I hate the playoffs because you always end up losing your last game.
Yeah.
If we had been back in the 60s when they didn't have the playoffs, we'd have won 10 games, gotten a bowl, and won it. We've been 11-0. This bunch of kids have been on top of the world. But now we've got this deal where you've got to have playoffs for everything, and you know, and try to determine who's better than this, and that's nice if you win the last game, but it's tough on everybody else. There's you know, there's about 300 and something schools in this state that lost their last football game of the year, and that leaves a bad taste in your kids' mouth. But well, tough luck and is what everybody says, but. That's why I don't like the playoffs that much. You know, it's nice to be in them when you're winning it, but you lose that last ball game and you've lost your year. Fellas, I appreciate what y'all have done for us, and we appreciate what you've done to cover our program and the class that you've done it with, and we thank you for everything.
Well, it's been an honor for us to come up here and watch the Indians. Of course, Mel and me, you know, we graduated Oneida. We always we've always enjoyed Indian football. If we wasn't here doing this, we'd be here cheering them on. And of course, we was there in the 92 Clinic Bowl. We didn't get a chance to cover that one like we did this one, and I was kind of hoping, just from a selfish standpoint, I'd get to go back and do that because I missed out on that. But as the old saying goes, there's always next year or the year after that, and hopefully we'll be there again.
Well, we're going to work toward having the best team we can have, whether we win 1 game or 13. And
that's true. And
we've got kids that really enjoy playing football, and that's what it's all about. Sometimes we say that, we measure success by whether you win and lose and what happens in things like this, but that's not the measure of success with kids. We're in the business of letting kids play high school football and letting them enjoy their time here in school.
Well, Coach, appreciate you stopping by, and congratulations. 13-1 is definitely nothing to be ashamed of. You did a fantastic job this year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. See you next year.
Well, Mel, that's going to wrap it up for another year of football here at Oneida. The Harriman Blue Devils, good luck next week against David Liscombe or Milan, and hopefully Harriman will win that game, and you'll have a representative and from this region has won the last 3 state championships.
That's right, and this is without a doubt the toughest region in the state, and whoever wins, David Lipscomb or Milan, they better watch out for Harriman because they are for real, and they are a good football team.
Well, it's been a pleasure for us to bring these games to you, made possible by our sponsors that you've seen broadcast here tonight. For everybody behind the crew, and for Mel Akers and myself, thank you for joining us here on Channel 5. Catch us again next year. It has been an honor for us to do these games. See you later.